In the 80s and 90s, Nintendo was on top of the world. They single-handedly revived the video game industry in the West, and it was all thanks to one guy.
Holy cannoli, kids, I'm Mario!
Mario was big during this time, like really big. So, of course, with anything that's successful, Hollywood has to get its greasy capitalistic paws on it and adapt it. And oh boy, adapt it they did. And it was terrible. The Mario movie was a complete box office flop. It was so bad that it made Nintendo go, yeah, I don't think we're gonna do that again. So, because of one single god-awful Mario movie, all hope of seeing Nintendo's other franchises on the big screen seemed lost. Well, at least to us good-for-nothing Westerners, that is. Across the pond, they were enjoying things like Kirby animes, F-Zero animes, and of course, the topic of this video, a feature-length Animal Crossing movie.
You serious?
Yeah, I don't know. You'd think they'd try doing a Zelda or Metroid movie first, but nope, Animal Crossing it is. But, I mean, it kinda makes sense. This movie came out in 2006, and Wild World was killing it at the time, selling over 3 million copies in just Japan alone. It's just, this is Animal Crossing we're talking about. There's not a whole lot to work with here. Movies are another form of storytelling, and most stories follow the whole 3-act structure thing. Beginning, middle, and end. But Animal Crossing has like a 1-act structure. It's just beginning and, oh cool, a fossil. But that's not to say adapting something like this is impossible. I mean, just look at Kirby Right Back at You, for example. They used the world and characters of Kirby as the foundation, and then created a charming, original story on top of that. But were they able to give Animal Crossing that same kind of treatment? Yeah, kind of. The movie starts exactly how Wild World does, with Captain driving a random human character to their new home in a small animal village. In this case, the random human character's name is Ai. She's of course all excited to start her new life here, and I mean, why wouldn't she? This place is beautiful, which I gotta say, the production value on this movie is amazing. Nintendo really went all out on this. They got the same studio that's known for doing the Pokemon anime to handle all of the animation, and it looks really nice. I'm a big fan of the backgrounds especially. They all have this very hand-drawn appearance, which gives each scene this nice, cozy feeling. In addition, they brought in Kazumi Totaka to do the music, which I wasn't expecting. For those of you who don't know, he's the main composer for all of the games, and honestly, even though there's a bunch of recognizable characters and locations here, they're not what makes this feel like an Animal Crossing movie. It's the music. You take away the music and you're left with a somewhat generic kids movie about a girl hanging out with some animals. Also, there's aliens. Spoilers! But anyways, once she arrives, she immediately goes to town hall and meets Peli and the mayor. The mayor has this whole side plot where he's worried no one will vote for him in the upcoming election, even though he's the only one who's running. I don't know, it's kind of cute, I guess. She then heads down to Nook's shop to pick up the keys to her new home, and he just puts her to work. Yeah, it's not like the games where you're forced to work for Nook because you can't afford the house. I just shows up and he's all like, so, I own your ass now. Like, geez, dude, she just wants to get moved in. Do you do this to everyone who rents from you? So she starts working for Nook, which allows her to meet some of the other villagers. There's Rosie the cat, who's absolutely adorable. This sleepy boy, who apparently ordered 500 pies.
Thank you for leaving your order of 500 pies at 500 pies?
There's also another human character whose name is Yu. He's like the personification of every hardcore Animal Crossing fan ever. He's constantly trying to catch bugs, find fossils, harass villagers with pitfalls. Come on, we've all done it before. Honestly, I wish this movie were about him instead. He's always up to something interesting, while I's just kind of moping around, crying about cherry pies or something. Yeah, I should probably talk about the cherry pie thing. I eventually meets Margie, and they become really close and bond over eating pies or something. And then cherry pie becomes like a metaphor for following your dreams, or I think that's what they're trying to say. I don't know, man. It's super confusing. At first, I thought I got a bad fan translation because out of nowhere, Margie's just like, you ever just eat a whole fucking cherry pie? My cherry pie's designing clothes. Like, I hope you find your cherry pie someday. Like, what? it's so weird. I get what they were trying to do, you know, be all philosophical with metaphors about life and whatnot, but it's just not well executed. But yeah, her and Margie get super close, and she ruins Apollo's flower bed, which causes him to storm out of the cafe, and then at the end, he's all like, "Oh, you thought I was mad about that? Nah." Also, there's this thing where Apollo and Bianca were apparently dating, but now there's some weird sexual tension between them. Yeah, I don't know. That's my main problem with this movie. It sets up like 50 different subplots, but none of them really go anywhere or have a satisfying conclusion, which is a shame because a lot of these side stories are a lot more interesting than what the actual main plot is about. The main plot revolves around I and Margie's relationship and how they want to help each other achieve their dreams. How original. Margie wants to design clothes for a living and ends up getting a gig in another town, which forces her to move. It's kind of messed up though, because she tells everyone in the village except I that she's leaving. Like, damn, Margie, that's cold, yo. But then she just randomly comes back a few scenes later to visit and says she didn't tell I she was leaving because she didn't want to see her cry. Like, it feels so tacked on just so they can have some kind of overarching conflict. But I don't know, I feel like I'm being overly negative. Honestly, there's a lot I really enjoyed about this movie, like all the references they crammed in. There's a bunch of NPCs that make appearances, there's fossil collecting, messages in bottles from Wild World, and even a KK Slider concert, which I lost it during this part. He introduces himself in normal Japanese, and then when he starts singing, he uses animal knees. Like, it just caught me off guard. I don't know.
何かリクエストあるかい？
ケケボッソをお願いします。
OK。
What the fuck was that?
However, my biggest issue with this movie is, well, the fact that it's a movie. It feels more like a collection of episodes from a short anime or something that were only loosely tied together after the fact. On their own, the individual segments are really enjoyable, like when they adventure through a cave to find a rare fossil, or when Ai needs to find Apollo so she can apologize for ruining his flowers. But because they're all crammed into a runtime of just an hour and a half, it starts to get a bit exhausting to watch towards the end. This also means that none of these stories really get enough time to be fleshed out. It all kind of comes together in a somewhat incoherent mess. Like, we go from a plot about I and Margie's relationship to a goddamn alien invasion in a matter of minutes. Oh yeah, I wasn't lying about that whole aliens thing. In an effort to find her purpose in life, or cherry pie as it were, I plants a bunch of pine trees to summon some aliens, Gulliver shows up, and they do the whole side quest from the games where you need to find his broken spaceship parts, but apparently Gulliver was a fake alien, because real aliens eventually come, and then Margie's all like, I guess you found your cherry pie after all. Like, what? I thought cherry pie was a metaphor for your purpose in life or something. You telling me Ai's only purpose in life was to start an alien invasion? Regardless, this perfectly illustrates what I mean when I say the plot is kind of an incoherent mess, which is a shame because underneath this mess of a plot is something really special. As an Animal Crossing fan, I absolutely love this movie for how well it manages to adapt the source material. There's just so much fan service here, and you can tell there was a lot of love and care put into it. But to a non-fan, I could see this movie being a bit boring for them. This really should have been a short series as opposed to an hour-and-a-half long film. Maybe they just thought more people would see it if they threw it in theaters as opposed to releasing short episodes on like a DVD or something. Who knows? All I know is this movie makes me hope they try something like this again. Animal Crossing is more popular now than it's ever been, and with how accessible streaming is, I think a more focused short Animal Crossing series would do pretty well. But let's be honest, it's never gonna happen. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to say about the Animal Crossing movie. What do you think of this movie, though? Do you think they should try something like this again? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and all that. And if you like this video, you'll probably like my other Animal Crossing videos, or maybe you'll even like my last video I did. I don't know, man. I can't read your mind. I'm just like a guy in a computer screen. What's up? But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.